Good evening, folks. Give me a second while I welcome our Spanish-speaking neighbors. Buenas tardes, mi gente. Si quieren acceso al programa en español, por favor marquen el número que aparece en la pantalla, que es 646-749-3122. Cuando levantan la llamada, comparten el código que aparece en la pantalla también, que es 779-328-221. Esa información la vamos a compartir en los comentarios o no tienen que tener apuro o preocupación que no van a tener esa información. Y Isabel va a estar en la otra línea traduciendo todo el programa de hoy para ustedes. Thanks for being a little patient while we make sure our Spanish-speaking neighbors are with us today. My name is Tammy Rivera. I'm the executive director and lead organizer for Southside Organizing Center. And we have a whole full team working together to bring you this Vote-a-Thon today. So I want to give a shout out to Stacy, who's doing production. She is our organizer and lead of public resources. To Jeanette and Stacy, who really collaborated with me to pull off this Vote-a-Thon in terms of coordination. Jeanette for being a mastermind with our videos and our digital needs, and also for leading our youth program in doing the 2 o'clock broadcast. Alexis, our youth organizer, did a great job with that part of the program as well. Folks, we've been with you at 8 o'clock, at 10 o'clock, at 12, at 2, at 4, and we're at the very last of the day. You can tell in my hair how long a day it's been. And I forgot my lipstick today, all kinds of things, but we've had a great day with you all. So this is our very last broadcast of the day. You have 2 hours to get to the polls and vote. So we're hoping that we're going to give you enough information and resources and support and inspiration to go out and vote. This is our effort for democracy and civic engagement. And I want to share with you that we have a whole group um, of folks, elected officials, who joined us today to help encourage you and bring you accurate information. At the federal level, um, in just a second, we're going to share a video from Congresswoman Moore. And then at the state level today, in a couple of minutes, you're going to hear from State Representative Marisabel Cabrera. Earlier today, we had State Representative Sylvia Ortiz Velez. From the county level, we had County Executive David Crowley with us, and a message from the chair of the County Supervisors, Chair Marcelia Nicholson. At the city level, we had the president of the Common Council with us, Jose Perez, and we had Alderperson Jocasta Samaripa. We've also had a couple of other guests. We had the League of Women Voters, both Peggy Creer, the president of the League of Women Voters of Milwaukee County, and Aloisa Gomez, a co-founder and chair of the League of Women Voters Wisconsin, Vote-a-Latino. And we had the Milwaukee Election Commission with us, represented by Jonathan Zuniga. What we're going to do, because we're not going to play all of those or we'll be with you by all the time from here till you have to vote at 8, is after today, Jeanette is volunteered to take on the task of stringing all those videos together so they're all in one place, all together, and you can see them. So you didn't miss out. You'll get that. I just wanted to share the level of commitment that we've had from folks to help you vote. Right now, what I'd like to do is bring on our first guest, State Representative Marisabel Cabrera. Hola.
Hola, buenas tardes.
We're so glad that you're with us. We know you all have a lot of work to do. And what we're trying to achieve today is having folks get some inspiration from our elected officials on why they should vote, the urgency to vote, but also to give you an opportunity to address maybe one of the topics the community is interested in getting an update on. And as you know, we both landed on even though we haven't had the movement, maybe we need to just touch on what's been happening for driver's licenses in the state for the undocumented. So, why don't you share with us, State Representative Cabrera, why people should vote? Share your heart on that and your thoughts.
Okay, thank you, Tammy, for the opportunity. I think that voting is the number one tool that every person has to weigh in on how our government works. It is our voice, to our opportunity to be able to say, I like this, I don't like this, I want you to do this, I want you to stop doing that, right? So it is very important that if you're eligible to vote, that you do so. There are many people who wish they could vote and aren't able to participate. And so you're not only representing yourself, but those folks that don't have the ability to weigh in. And for Latinos in general, we are often, unfortunately, overlooked, and it is because of politicians' perception that we are disengaged, that we don't care, that it's not something that we want to be a part of. And so it is our responsibility to show them differently. And it's our way to get them to come to our communities, because if they see that we are engaging in greater numbers and we are moving as a block, then then it's a force to be reckoned with, and they have to pay closer attention to what our needs are. Also, because our democracy is in fact at risk here. This is a spring election. Typically, it's often ignored by folks. If there's not a presidential election, people aren't really as engaged. And this particular election, there's many judicial races that are happening. And in the judicial branch is a very important branch of our democracy. It is part of the whole checks and balances. Why we have the three branches of government is so that, not any one of them is singularly making all of the decisions, whether they're good and bad. And if they're bad, the judicial branch is the branch that will put the check there and say, you're going beyond what the scope of your authority is. You cannot do these things. And so it is very important that we vote in these races just as much as when we vote in the presidential races. There's so many things that are going to be decided with our state Supreme Court, and many of them will have a very big impact in our community. So it's very important that we go out and vote. We still have 2 hours. It's not too late.
Mm-hmm.
You can still go out there and vote and have your voice counted.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. Was a different perspective added to today's conversation, so we appreciate that. Let's switch gears now. What can you tell us about the state of licencias de conducir or driver's license for the undocumented at the state level?
So this session, which commenced earlier this year, January 3rd, I believe is when we were all sworn in. The Governor Evers once again included as part of his budget proposal driver's licenses for all. And at this point in the budget process, it is now in the hands of the Joint Finance Committee, where they are having multiple, I believe there's 4 public hearings where the public can weigh in on what their desires are for how our resources are disseminated across the different programs. And typically they have these hearings, and then they have their own committee hearings where they either change things in the governor's budget, deleted different portions, or they scrap it and start anew with their own proposal. Last session, that was what they did, is what they came up with their own proposal. We anticipate that that is likely to happen this time again.
Mm.
Or if not, they've already signaled that the driver's license portion is something that they are not in agreement with. So whether they choose to go and work off of the governor's budget, that is something they've already signaled they will remove from the budget. Or if they go along with their own budget, they did not include it in past sessions. And so what we as a legislature will be voting on most likely will not include that in the budget. However, myself and State Representative Sylvia Ortiz Velez have been working on a standalone bill that we will introduce once the budget is decided. And where we are pushing more of a public safety narrative, because that is something that it's not only going to benefit undocumented individuals, but everybody in the community. We want everybody who's on the road to know the rules of the road. We want them to be able to um, drive safely and without worries that not only if they get stopped that they will get a driving without a driver's license ticket, but there could be other more serious consequences with their immigration status or lack thereof. So that is something that we've been speaking a lot with different Republican legislators, because they have the numbers and we actually need them in order to get anything passed. So if it does pass, we know that the governor will sign it.
Yeah.
It's a matter of getting Republicans on board, which we have had talks that seem to be more positive, and we kind of are a little bit optimistic about it, but we're still in the negotiating stage of that.
Great. Thank you for that update. I think it's been a long and hard fought battle, and people are fatigued, but we need to keep them informed and also, inspire them with some hope. What would be your advice to the folks who support driver's license? What can people do to help move that forward right now?
Reach out to their legislators. It's really important that it's not just myself and Representative Ortiz Velez that are, advocating for this. And I will say that many times it's the language and messaging that you use. It's not something that they're not interested in hearing about a separate issue, that they don't want it linked to a pathway to citizenship, because first of all, as state legislators, we have no say in how that moves forward. That is a federal legislature issue that we can't do anything about. What we can control is the driver's license issue here in our state. And so we want to focus on that and not tie it to any other immigration issue, because they're not going to be persuaded with immigration arguments. They will be persuaded with arguments that talk about public safety, that talk about the worker shortage. We have a worker shortage. You want to help with that? Give people driver's licenses so that they can get to the places that need workers. And so those are the things it's the messaging. You want to speak to them in their language so that they're not just waiting for you to finish talking and then just send you away. And so, you can't ever give up, even if we're always going to keep pushing for it. We're always going to keep asking for it. And that's just like anything else. That's why you should go out there and vote and never give up, and go vote for the people who are going to fight for the issues that matter to you.
That's a great place to end our time together. State Representative Cabrera, thank you for being a great partner, and have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Adios. All right, folks, I'm going to share a little bit with you about SOC in case you're new to us. Let me see who's with us. We can see that people are with us, but we can't see who's with us unless you leave a note. So please say hello. Please share this Vote-a-Thon. It's the last one of the day. So if you do nothing else today to help democracy, share this so we can get people inspired and give them the information. Hola, Manny and Clary. Saludos de parte de Manny. Hola, Manny. Don't get to see you here often. Glad to see you. Clary, hola, Clary. Clary says, Jade says hello, and she said, please go to vote. Yay, Jade, future executive director of Southside Organizing Center. Hola. All right, folks, guess what? It's our 33rd birthday this year. We're super excited about that. SOC is the longest standing grassroots organizing institute on Milwaukee's South Side, has played a critical role in all kinds of historical achievements. We don't have the time to share that all today, but In 1990, neighbors came together to ensure that this community, these neighborhoods and this community, are safe and they're livable and economically vibrant. And that soul of neighbors leading continues to be what SOC is committed to. We want to ensure with this democracy and civic engagement work that we do that, you have a voice, that you have a vote and a vehicle to organize together. I'm not going to talk about all our programs today, but because our heart tips to our youth organizing program, we are going to share some information about that. SOC has, since my tenure, expanded and included paid youth organizers that are placed with us through an employment program, and so they get to work on their personal leadership, their academic and vocational leadership, and they get trained as organizers. They do some incredible work. And so right now, Jeanette and Alexis are going to share a little more about the program that runs in the summer, because we have a summer program and a year-round program, and that's called Earn and Learn.
Joining us. And next, I want to talk to a little bit about the youth programming that we have here at SOC. We are currently an Earn and Learn site for the summer again. So I am very excited about that. We will have some new youth joining us for the summer. If you know any youth that is interested in working in the community, please let us know. I am going to bring Alexis on with me, who is one of our youth organizers, and she has a little message.
Hi, my name is Alexis. I'm the youth organizer here at Southside Organizing Center. Are you between ages 14 and 24? Would you like to help the community? We work to make our neighborhood safe and livable for our environment. Please join us this summer. We are officially the Earn and Learn site. If you are interested, message us at sockmilwaukee.org. We hope to work with you.
Thank you, Alexis. If you are interested in the Earn and Learn program, you can email us at sock@sockmilwaukee.org or message us on Facebook. I will also put my email in the comments to reach out if you're interested. I can assist with the application process. And if you truly want to work with SOC, I do have a priority code as well. That is something new that Earn and Learn is doing. The program application is completely online, but if a youth needs assistance, a family needs assistance, I am always available to help you. So please feel free to call the office, email us, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Let me see if...
Thank you, Jeanette. We're going to bring you a message from our Congresswoman, Gwen Moore, now, and then I'll be back with you.
Hi, everyone. This is Gwen Moore, and I am coming to you on behalf of the Southside Organizing Committee. I just want to remind you that today, April 4th, is Election Day in the state of Wisconsin. And on the ballot is the statewide race for the Supreme Court. The newly elected justice will serve for 10 years, making decisions for all of Wisconsin. We need a justice that will protect our voting rights, that will protect access to health care, and will stand up to unfair redistricting. We and all of our neighbors are counting on you to vote today to protect our democracy. I'm thanking you in advance for voting.
Thank you, Congresswoman Moore. You've been a great partner and leader in our community. Folks, there's all kinds of reasons. There's all kinds of reasons why you should be with us today, getting the information you need to vote. But we've, increased the stakes. We have 4 door prizes for a $50 gift card for a total of $200 on the table today. That drawing is going to take place tomorrow live. Alexis, our youth organizer, is going to pull those names. And there's all kinds of ways you can get multiple entries into those door prizes. So let me share that with you and hope that you take advantage of that. The easiest way is to share this Facebook Live. When you do that, you'll be entered into the drawing. A couple other easy ways: you can like us on Facebook or our Instagram or our LinkedIn, or go to our YouTube and drop a note. You can upload a picture of yourself voting, or if you went with someone because you can't vote, to encourage them. And then we have 3 surveys that are really important. Don't take more than 5 minutes of your time, and we'll enter you into the drawing as well. So I'm going to present my screen so that I can share that with you. The first one is our post-pandemic Southside Neighbor Survey. We all experienced the pandemic and had to really think about what was important to us, our priorities, because there were things we had to make choices from, and then some of our choices were removed, things that we wanted to do. And we want to spend the next 2 or 3 years addressing what you think is really critical post-pandemic. And in order to do that, we're going to start with surveys, get those results, and bring groups together so we can really make an action plan that serves your needs for the next couple of years. And so I just want to show you a peek at the survey so you see how simple they are. This is just an introductory to the survey, and a little bit about SOC, and then you're going to share your contact information, which helps us to know that we have enough representation across our district, which is 1st Street to the Brewers Boulevard or 43rd Street, the Valley or Pierce Street to Oklahoma Avenue. And then here go the simple questions. What are your top dreams for your neighborhood? What are your top concerns? Are you interested in being part of a group of neighbors in your area? Yes, maybe, no. And that's okay. You don't have to be. Just want to get a sense of those of you who want to dig in and at what level. And then there's a series of about a dozen categories that all you have to do is mark which rating you give it. For instance, safety. This is not important at all. It's somewhat important. It's important, or it's very important. And then you have housing, education, etc. It will take less than 5 minutes of your time, and you'll get entered into a drawing. So that's one opportunity. The other one is we're really wanting to work with our neighbors even in a greater way post-pandemic. And so in honor of our 33rd birthday, now we started this campaign when we were 32. That's why it's 30 plus 2 with you. And we're graduating it to our 33 plus me campaign. But here it explains a little bit about the ask we're making. It's not a heavy ask, folks, which is to partner with us by being an ambassador for your block. We want to make sure every block on the South Side has an adult and a youth that is willing to be an ambassador. And what does that mean? It's really as simple as you being willing to share information, resources, and opportunities with your neighbors, as simple as leaving a flyer in their door, maybe once or twice a month at most. And then the rest of involvement that you want to have is totally up to you if you want to become a leader of ambassadors, etc. And the other part of that is, besides sharing information with neighbors, that you would bring back information if you hear folks being concerned about city services or crime or not having enough attention to something or a project they really would love to see happen. So it's being the middle person, right? Ambassador. And then there are tons of benefits when you become an ambassador. You'll be trained. You get free or reduced entry into all of our activities and programs and services, like our organizing training, our leadership institute, our retro ball, our conference, etc. And so you must live within our district, as I shared earlier. And if you're an ally, you're welcome too. And then the other thing is, we're going to gear you all up, right? We love to have hats and vests and bags out in the community to let people know that we're here. That's another way. And again, it's a very simple form that you just have to put the date and your contact information. Are you adult or youth? and what block you're thinking you could represent. Super, super simple. And then the last survey is having to give your contact information and then just say, letting us know, was this Vote-a-Thon helpful for you? What about it was the most useful? What we could change, and any other thoughts that you have. So super, super simple stuff, folks, that you could do to get involved in your community. And then you're going to be entered into those 4 door prizes, which will be pulled tomorrow live on Facebook. All right, at this time, we're going to go ahead and share one of the other guest videos that we have, and we'll move from the federal, and then we already heard from our state. So we're going to go ahead to the county, and we're going to hear from the county chair of the supervisor, who's going to start off talking about a special election that I'm going to follow up with. Marcelia Nicholson.
Hi, I'm County Board Chairwoman Marcelia Nicholson. And as the first Afro-Latina to lead the county board, I know firsthand just how important the job of a county supervisor is to Latino and Hispanic communities. Supervisors are responsible for adopting a $1.2 billion budget every year, and we set policy for quality of life services such as parks and transit. This is why I appreciate the Southside Organizing Center for hosting a forum for residents to get to know the candidates seeking to represent the 14th Supervisory District. This district is in the heart of Milwaukee's South Side and includes landmarks like the Kazi Community Center and Basilica of St. Josephat. It is so important that the residents of District 14 make their voices heard in this important election.
Thank you to County Supervisor Chairwoman Marcelia Nicholson. And she rolled us into a discussion I want to have with you about the County Supervisor District 14 vacancy. We had a former elected official, Django Zerpa, who stepped down. And then the county exec called for a special election. And it's happening in conjunction with this current election of today. So what's going to happen is there are 3 candidates, Travis Hope, Caroline Gomez-Tom, and Angel Sanchez. And you'll have to decide, you folks who live in the 14th district, which 2 of those move forward. The ones who get the most votes move forward. And then there's going to be a special election, mark your calendars, for Tuesday, May 2nd, and you're going to decide who represents you. We want to give you some help to get to know those candidates and more information for today's vote, but also for the May 2nd vote. So here are some quick resources that we have for those of you who live in the district, and I'm going to show you the map in a second. We did a candidates forum where we shared questions from neighbors of District 14 with the candidates, and they responded. So you can find that in our Facebook page. Anything I share here and links, you're going to find them in the comments section, so you don't need to worry about, did you catch that, where that's going to be. You can get the direct links in our comment section, but you can also just drop in on our Facebook page and find these things. So you can see the candidates forum there. The other thing is that we have a coalition, a civic coalition for the South Side, and organizations got to share questions with the candidates that they had, and the candidates responded in writing, and I published that last night in English and in Spanish, so you get a sense of the thoughts of the candidates in that race. And then if you don't know what a county supervisor does, because all of us get confused between the difference between an alderperson and a county supervisor and a state representative and a senator, etc., you can visit the county website that talks about supervisors. We're sharing that in the comments as well. And then what I'd like to do now is share that district map with you. And the reason that's important is because after the census, the districts in Milwaukee changed for the county supervisor on the South Side. And it's super important that you get a sense of whether you fall in that or not, because this election is happening quick. Like I said, today you'll decide the 2 that go forward. And then on May 2nd, you're going to decide who's representing you. Can someone confirm with me that you can see the map? Okay, great. All right, so here we go, folks. It's not super clean, so I can't say like these are 4 borders and you go. It's not quite a square rectangle. But here on the north end, as you can see, is Virginia Street, Pierce, Bruce, etc. And then as you move down, you're going to see that the western border starts creeping up to 16th Street, and then it's mostly 20th Street all the way down south. On the east, you see that it starts sort of at 5th Street, 4th Street, and then goes to First Place and First Street with a couple of curves there. And then all the way on the south end is Howard Avenue. So, folks, if you live within this red boundary, you are a District 14 neighbor, and that district was changed after the census. And we want to make sure you don't get confused and that you understand where that's going to be. Let's see who's with us. If we got any new visitors since my last shout out. Folks, we can see that you're with us, but we don't know who you are unless you say hello in the comments. So we'd love for you to drop a line. One of our candidates for District 14 is with us, Travis Hope. Hola, Travis. All right, folks, say hello so we can give you a shout out. What I'd like to do now is share information about the centralized website that most people use when they want to find some voting information. It's myvote.wisconsinwi.gov. And we're going to go ahead and share a previous session I did with you also. You learn how to use that site and you're familiar with it. To share another resource with you all that really is available to you 24 hours a day. This is why I appreciate this website. I'm going to go ahead and go to myvote.wisconsin.wi.gov. So, folks, confirm to me that you can see the screen so I can go forward. And again, we're at myvote.wisconsin.gov. Here, again, 24 hours a day, you can access voting information. Your voting information, like which elections have you participated in? It doesn't disclose what you voted for or who, but it lets you know, did you do the spring or the fall election, the primary or the general? You find your polling place here, where to vote, what's on the ballot. You can update your name or address. You can register to vote. For the fall election, you can request absentee voting by mail. You can track your ballot after you send it in, and you can vote absentee in person, meaning bringing the documents to certain locations. So we're just going to practice 2 things. I just want you to get a little familiar with this site as we do on each of our Vote-a-Thons. Again, they just highlighted some of the things that I shared. Here, a little more information about absentee voting. You can be a poll worker. You can see election results, the deadlines for elections. You can learn about the process of how our votes get counted, and for some extra support for military voters and families of military voters. So we're going to go ahead and practice just 2 things. Where your polling places. This is super important because after the census, some people's locations, boundaries for their district change, which means your polling place could have changed. So I'm going to use the example of Sauk's address so that you get, practice doing this. We are not quite yet open to the public since the pandemic, but we will be soon. You can contact us in all the same ways you did, except for coming to the office right now. So phone, email, website, social media. And mostly we're in the community with you doing activities and events and doing doors. So we'll see you there until our office can open again. So if I lived here at 1300 South Layton Boulevard at our office, I would have to vote at Durfler School. Some of the voting locations are in schools, some of them are in park pavilions, etc. It gives you the address here of where the school is, reminds us that voting is from 7 to 8 p.m. today. If you are in line at a voting place by 8 o'clock, they have to let you vote, FYI, so you know. And then they even give you a map if you've not been to that site before. So good stuff. And then if you want to go to find out what you'll be voting on, because sometimes we pay attention to one or two races, but there's a lot of things going on. You can go ahead and use that same address and search, and it's going to pull up exactly what your ballot is going to look like in terms of the races. So we've all heard, and you're going to hear in a minute more about the Supreme Court race. There are your options. And then there's tons of judge races to vote on. Court of Appeals, Milwaukee County Circuit Court, tons, look at this, tons of circuit court judges to vote for. And then we also have municipal judges to elect in two out of the 3 branches. So pay attention to that. And then we have a school board member at large to vote for. Now, your ballot may look a little different depending on where you live, but just giving you an example if you lived where Sauk is. I'm not going to go through all of the referendum questions at this time, but please know that you need to read the referendum questions. And what are referendum questions? This is our elected officials at the state asking our opinions about certain topics so that they know the will of the people. And there's some critical referendums because they have to do with our Constitution, amending it. That's a very serious decision to make, right? Because at the spinal cord of democracy here is our Constitution. And so there is a question about, should the court be able to put conditions on folks before they're convicted? And that's an important, moral and philosophical question for a lot of folks. Again, should the court be able to amend the Constitution for cash bail for folks before the conviction as well? And then should folks, adults without children who are able-bodied, have to work for tax-funded welfare benefits? And then last, which is probably the topic you've most heard about recently, is there's a long-standing, very old law which bans abortion at any stage of pregnancy and doesn't have exceptions for rape, incest, health of the patient. And so this question is, should it be repealed to allow for legal access to abortion care? So we want to make sure you get to see those, think about them as we have just a few hours left to vote. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here, and we're going to. All right, folks, lots of important things to vote for, and you have, an hour and a half, hopefully plenty of time for you to go vote. We doubt very much that you will have any kind of long line or time to wait to vote. So we encourage you to do that. What we'd like to do now is, we shared at the federal level a message from Congresswoman Moore, and we had State Representative Marisabel Cabrera here from the state level. We shared from the County Supervisor Chair, Marcelia Nicholson, and now we're going to hear at the city level from Alderwoman Jocasta Samaripa. Folks, we've had a great lineup of our electeds today. To recap, we had County Exec Dave Crowley with us, President of the Common Council Jose Perez. We had State Representative Sylvia Ortiz, and sorry that we had so many technical difficulties during that time because the storm was moving through, and we're doing a little better now. So we hope that that's going to keep going. And now I have the privilege of introducing Alderwoman Jocasta Samaripa, who is our first Latina serving in that position. And so we're going to bring her on and hope all things work well. She was saying she's Hola, Alderman Samaripa. Alderwoman Samaripa,
Hi.
can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you guys. It's a little bit broken up. I'm hoping you guys can hear me.
Yeah. We
Okay.
can see you and we can hear you. And we've had some difficulty with the last broadcast too because of the storm, but so far so good. Alderwoman Samaripa was celebrating that you're our first Latina at the Common Council. And we're hoping today to accomplish two things with each of the guests. One is to do a rah-rah for people to get out the vote, because sometimes people get discouraged or it's hard to get to the polling place in the schedule. And then the other thing is, what at the Common Council or city level do you want folks to hear about?
Well, I want them to know that we're working hard at the city level. The city's in very dire straits, to be very transparent, and that we haven't been getting our fair share of shared revenue from the state government for a very long time. But with this new Mayor Cavalier Johnson, with our new Common Council President, Jose Perez, the first Latino to ever serve in one of the highest roles in local government, I feel confident that we are going to finally bring home our fair share of shared revenue. And so I hope that people across the city are watching closely to make sure that our state legislature does the right thing for the city. And with that, I know you mentioned also you're trying to encourage people to vote.
Yes.
Happy Election Day. Today is Election Day. We have a very important state Supreme Court race. We have a special election on the South Side for county supervisor. We have a number of judicial positions. And so I hope that our people will head out. If they're ciudadanos, if they're citizens, I hope they're heading out to go and exercise their right to vote today.
Great. And let's help people understand the issue of shared revenue, because that's a new discussion that we're having with folks. Can you help us, especially because you had the experience of being a state representative? Can you help us help the folks understand why it's so important to make headway in that shared revenue?
So that we can offer the city services to the people. Shared revenue is really important. It's dollars that come from the state governor from the state government via the governor and the Wisconsin state legislature. Those dollars flow from state government to local governments across the great state of Wisconsin. So all of the municipalities, not just the city of Milwaukee, but across the board. And so it's really important that state government support their local governments, because that is really the local government is who is closest to the people, doing those basic quality of life services like picking up your trash, plowing the snow in the winter. These types of services are near and dear to the average Milwaukeean's heart, and that's why we're hoping that they'll follow this shared revenue debate very closely.
Great. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we let you go on to the rest of your busy day?
Just again, you heard it so well from Jonathan Zuniga from the City of Milwaukee Election Commission. Please go out and vote today. It's our responsibility, especially on the near South Side, where we know we're home to the largest Latino population in the great state of Wisconsin. We have a responsibility. If you're Latino and you're a citizen, you know that you have a responsibility to go and be a voice for our people that are not able to vote right now, whether it's because they're undocumented or perhaps because they're residents and they don't have their citizenship. Unfortunately, they also do not have the right to vote. So los que son ciudadanos necesitan que votar siempre. Those who are U.S. citizens have got to go every single time to vote, even in these spring elections that historically have lower voter turnout.
Great. Thank you for your time with us today, Alderwoman, and have a great day.
Thank you, Tammy.
Adios. All right, folks. Thank you to Alderwoman Samaripa. I'd like to give a shout out to our Near Southside Civic Coalition. SOC founded and leads a group of organizations that are digging in to do civic engagement on the Near South Side. And so let's give them a proper shout out. With us is the Latino Chamber of Commerce of Southeastern Wisconsin, the League of Women Voters of Wisconsin, Vote-a-Thon, as well as the League of Women Voters, Milwaukee County, the Milwaukee LGBT Community Center, Milwaukee Turners, Voces de la Frontera, and Vote Riders. We have a great coalition doing lots of work coming together. We work together on the candidates forum and on some pieces of this Vote-a-Thon as well. And so what we'd like to do now is bring one of those partners on to talk about the election. So we're going to have Eloisa Gomez from the League of Women Voters from the interview we had earlier with her today.
Buenos dias, Tammy. Good to see you again.
Buenos dias, and it's good to see you again. I saw on Facebook that you all were doing doors for voting, your team. So we thank you for your commitment to that very important work in the community.
And feliz 33, su aniversario de la organización. That's great news. I didn't know it was 33 years. So congratulations, and thanks for your leadership too.
Of course, we're very excited. We're very proud that we're the longest standing grassroots organizing institution on the South Side. And we want to continue. We're very much needed more than ever. And we're glad that you partner with us. Eloisa, today we want to do two things with each guest. One is have you share inspiration and encouragement to vote, but then also tackle one aspect of voting that might give people information that will motivate them to vote. And I remember you invited us to report out on the Latino vote, and there was some really powerful information. So that's what I'm hoping we accomplish right now is some encouragement and then some power, right?
Well, absolutely. You know, Latinos in the city of Milwaukee represent 20% of the population. Now that's big. That's important. 20% de nuestra comunidad Latino is, it represents Milwaukee. But we have to make sure that we use that el poder of our numbers to get out and vote. And right now we're expecting about 30 to 35% of people getting out to vote. Now wouldn't you agree that's a low number?
Yeah.
For such an important, the Supreme Court position. So, and other, positions that we have before us, school board and county supervisor and alder persons. So all that is very important. So we need to use our voice of that 20% of the city's population to get out and vote. And will that happen? I think we just need to help support each other to do it. And this is what SOC is doing. La Liga de las Mujeres Votantes believes that this is very important. We need to continue to reach out to one another to encourage each other to get out and vote. Later today, we're expecting storms and rough weather, but maybe we voted early. There are resources. So the important message is our population is growing. We need to use that growth to channel towards our democracy. And a key part of that is getting out to vote, voting early by absentee balloting, or the 2 weeks before each election. Yeah. We have the opportunity to go out and vote at one of the libraries or another location. So I really encourage everyone, to make sure that we get out to vote today if we haven't voted yet.
Great. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we let you get to the rest of your day?
Well, there's two things just to quickly mention, because I know you've got a full agenda today. Yeah. And that is, if you have not, if you need more information on the candidates, and that's really one big reason why people don't vote. I don't know who the candidates are. I need nonpartisan, neutral information. Vote411.org we are nonpartisan. That means we do not support any political party whatsoever. We are not going to tell you who to vote for. But we want to tell you what the issues are. We want to let you know who the candidates are and what the issues are, like on the referendum. So please visit vote411.org. It's in Spanish as well. So, do not worry about it. If you are primarily Spanish speaking, no problema.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for being with us, being a faithful partner on our Near Southside Civic Coalition, and have a great rest of your day.
Okay. Best wishes, everyone. Get out and vote.
Gracias, Eloisa. You're such a great champion for civic engagement. I really appreciate working with you. We're about ready to close out, and I see that we have a chunk of folks with us. How about you say hello? Who's with us today who I haven't said hello to yet? Just say hi. Let us know if you voted. What number voter were you at? Were you at your polling place? In the meantime, we're going to have one of our other coalition partners, Brandy, from the Latino Chamber of Commerce, share a rah-rah for this last leg of the race. A little more than 1 hour left to vote today.
Hi everyone, my name is Brandy Hernandez and I am the engagement manager at the Latino Chamber of Commerce of Southeastern Wisconsin. Just wanted to hop on super quick and one, happy election day. Two, wanted to encourage you all to get out and vote. Voting is one of many ways that you can make your voice heard here in Milwaukee and in Wisconsin and all across the country. But yeah, on behalf of the Latino Chamber of Commerce, we just wanted to encourage you all to get out and vote, make your voice heard. If you have any questions on where your polling place is, you can always visit myvote.wi.gov, and that shows directly where you go and vote and what you need to take. Yeah, happy election day.
Gracias, Brandy. You do such a great job with your video. Folks, I'm going to share one more resource and then we're going to close out. If you are still not knowing which Supreme Court candidate you're going to vote for, in addition to what Eloisa shared to go to the site that has information about the candidates, 411.org, we also going to share a link to the debate between those two candidates that took place, that was hosted by the State Bar of Wisconsin in conjunction with WISC-TV and Wiz Politics. So we're going to put that in the comment section and you can go see that debate. You might have to fast forward through it and check in there. But if you're still undecided, that 411.org might help you, or taking a peek at the debate. Folks, I want to remind you this is the last opportunity you have to enter our door prizes. Share this Vote-a-Thon, like one of our social media pages, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. You can also fill out one of the surveys I mentioned earlier. All of those things will get you into our door prizes. And don't forget to come back and visit us Facebook Live tomorrow to see who won those 4 $50 gift cards. Thank you for being with us today. Have a safe night and please go out to vote. You've got plenty enough time to get there, 1 hour. And remember, if you're in line by 8 o'clock, they must allow you to vote.